Hello there guys, I am Blunty. Now, to those of you who follow me on Twitter or Google Plus or even Flickr may already know this, but I'm a pretty big fan of iPhoneography, or mobile photography if you want to be sort of agnostic about it. Even though mobile photography is a pretty stupid name for it, as very few kinds of photography isn't mobile per se. But anyway, a pretty big chunk of the pics I share online are either taken on my iPhone or edited with it, having been shot on something else and then use the camera's internal Wi-Fi or a Wi-Fi enabled memory card to squirt it over for processing and posting. I really enjoy the immediacy of shooting and editing and sharing right then and there as the shot is made and the feelings around it are still fresh. And I've a fistful of different bits of software and other tools and accessories to make all that easier, faster, and give me more creative flexibility, and the subject of today's review is of the latter flavour. That is, an accessory to give you more creative flexibility. These are a series of magnetically attachable lenses from Photojojo.com. They simply snap on at will to a little metal ring that you stick around your phone's camera lens, and Photojojo sell these individually for $20 each, but what I've got here is what they call the Classic Kit, which gets you a fisheye lens, a telephoto lens, a wide-angle and macro combo lens, all for $49. They each come with a little baggie of the magnetic attachment ring so you can use the lenses on multiple devices, or do both the front and back camera on your phone, or just keep as spares if the ring on your phone comes off and you manage to lose it or something. The ring attaches with what is essentially a double-sided sticky tape, which of course won't mark or damage your phone's casing or lens, and can be removed cleanly if you don't want it there anymore. And once you've got that sorted, obviously all you need to do is choose which lens you want to shoot with and slap it on there. So easy, even an Instagramming hipster could probably figure it out with a little guidance. So they really don't need any more explaining than that, do they? Let's go into the world and see what they can actually do. So what I've got here is a stack of pictures taken with each lens and my iPhone's unassisted camera, and as you can see, it's a pretty useful range of options that can make a surprisingly dramatic difference to the look of your shot. For reference, here is what the naked iPhone sees. And here's the first of the lenses, the wide angle. As you can see, there's a little barrel distortion going on, and things get a bit soft at the sides, and of course there's some vignetting in the corners, but the largest portion throughout the center is crisp and sharp. Fisheye up next, and as you'd expect for a fisheye lens, the barreling gets much more prominent, as does the vignetting. And while this will vary a bit depending on the focal length and lens of your particular device, you can see here on my iPhone 5S, it's a bit shy of being a completely spherical presentation, and it retains much of the detail and crispness in a fair chunk of the center. Here's the telephoto now. It's effectively a 2x zoom and probably my favourite of the group. It'll give you a tighter field of view and can not only bring your subject closer, of course, but help you eliminate distracting factors from the edges of your frame. Again, you can see some vignetting in the corners, but this time it's much more kind of soft and organic looking, and quite frankly, I really like it. Now, if we come over to some colour shots, we can look at another factor. All the lenses but one keeps the colour and contrast pretty much the same as the unaltered lens, but with the fisheye in particular, I found that it's not only a bit softer than the others, but also has a tendency to leave the colours a bit more washed out and decidedly low contrasty. This really isn't a big issue, because those things are pretty easy to correct for in any halfway decent editing app, but we'll circle back to that topic in a moment. The wide-angle lens has an extra trick too. You can unscrew the front lens element to reveal a macro lens underneath, and it will let you get very close to a subject. For me, maybe a little too close. The focusing distance is a bit too little. It makes it a bit tricky to avoid casting a shadow over the thing you're trying to shoot. But as a kind of bonus feature, it's pretty damn cool to have it sitting there like a macro ninja, ready to bust out at a moment's notice to shoot something very tiny, like a hipster's sense of self-awareness. In video mode, thanks to the fact that the different aspect ratio and the fact that most phones crop in slightly in video mode, you'll actually skip the most severe softening and vignetting at the edges of the frame, and you'll find you can actually pull a surprising amount of utility from them while sucking in the moving image. Now, the most obvious application of lenses like these is either to bring your subject closer or to bring in a much wider field of view for a landscape or group shot or something. But of course, once you've paddled in the photographic kiddie pool for a little bit, you'll also learn that different focal lengths and fields of view can give you another creative tool, being able to mess with relative perspective. These shots, for example, all cover closely the same area, they all include the same 5 subjects, but all look fairly dramatically different and give you a different look and a different feel. And this is what I enjoy most about these snap-on lenses. Because sometimes if I want a wider or tighter shot, I can simply move myself further back or closer. But there's no amount of shifting my ass around that could possibly let me play with perspective like this without the aid of a different lens. It's just not possible. Physics doesn't work that way. Now by now I'm sure some of you snobbier pixel peeping types may be whining and bemoaning the technical flaws of using lenses like this open you up to, like the vignetting or the increased softness, especially at the edges. To those people I say stop whining and start learning. Fun little fact, a sharp photo doesn't automatically equal a good photo, and just focusing on technical perfection is not the path to an emotionally rewarding image. That and the fact that pretty much the biggest fun factor of phone photography is working within technical limitations, and the license one gets to go a bit wild with more extreme editing and effects that you may never ever play with if you're shooting with more serious gear on a proper shoot or something. Be a snobby little bitch all you like about shooting with a phone, or how much more resolution or dynamic range or low light sensitivity your quote-unquote real camera has with the big sensor and the proper lenses. I'll be right over here, having fun, being creative, playing, experimenting, feeling rewarded by what I'm doing, and using whatever tools I like to make an image that I can enjoy and share with others in the hope that they find some enjoyment from it too. I guess now I'm kind of drifting off into something of a philosophical discussion, so back to the lenses. The other thing I really like about these lenses, as opposed to say the Holoclip, which itself is a nice set of similar lenses, but thanks to its custom fitted clip, only works for the iPhone, and only works for a specific type of iPhone, like the one for the 4 doesn't fit the 5, etc. And I had to buy a new one when I switched phones, and But with these, you can use them on pretty much any device. iPhone, Android, phone, tablet, doesn't matter. Those idiotic things marketers insist on calling phablets. You can even use it on your laptop's built-in webcam if you want. All you need is a little lens and a wide enough surface around it to stick the little metal disky thing. So treat yourself, or throw a set at a snap-happy friend for Christmas, or maybe get a set for yourself and get a set to give away. And one last thing I love about ordering gear from Photojojo. With every order you make, they send you a little plastic dinosaur, which is just kind of rad, really. Except I had 4 of these and I can't find the 4th one now, which kind of makes me sad. I guess I better go out there and shoot something, cheer myself up, eh? Thanks for watching, I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.
Grr, arg.